Want to know the biggest mistakes that are secretly making your home look cheap? And trust me, these are things no one talks about. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a senior or even just someone who's lived in your home for a while, you might not even realize that small details in your decor could be making your space look outdated or neglected. But don't worry, because today I'm going to show you exactly what to fix to make your home look elegant, cozy, and high-end without spending a fortune. And I promise that some of these tips are super easy to fix, but they'll make a massive difference. So stick around, because number 9 is something almost everyone overlooks. Number 1. Inconsistent flooring. Picture this. You walk into a friend's home and the living room has a beautiful honey-toned hardwood floor. As you step into the kitchen, suddenly it's a cold off-white tile. Then in the hallway there's beige carpeting. It feels like you're stepping into 3 different houses. This lack of consistency is one of the biggest mistakes that can make a home look cheap and disjointed. This happens a lot with seniors who have lived in their homes for decades. Maybe you replaced the kitchen floor 15 years ago with whatever was on sale, then redid the living room 5 years later in a completely different material, and added carpeting in the hallway to make it warmer. Over time, these changes accumulate, and before you know it, your home has lost its sense of unity. Take Mary, for example. She had a lovely home, but over the years, every room ended up with a different flooring type. "I just picked what I liked at the time," she admitted. "I never thought about how it would all look together." When her daughter finally convinced her to switch to a single flooring type throughout, the transformation was incredible. "It instantly made my home feel more modern, polished, and expensive," she said. If replacing all the flooring isn't an option, a great alternative is using large rugs to bridge the visual gaps between different floors. For instance, if your kitchen has a cool tile and your living room has warm wood, a large, neutral-toned area rug in the living space can help ease the transition. Number 2. Overdecorating. Many seniors fall into the trap of overdecorating. When you've collected beautiful things over a lifetime, it's hard to let go. But too much decor can make your home feel cluttered, chaotic, and unfortunately cheap, rather than elegant. Take Bob, for instance. He loved antiques and had collected figurines, vintage clocks, and framed artwork for decades. His living room was filled with knickknacks, so much so that it was hard to appreciate any single piece. When his granddaughter visited, she hesitated before saying, "Grandpa, it feels like a museum in here." That was his wake-up call. The key to a sophisticated home is curation. Instead of displaying every decorative piece you own, choose a few that truly stand out and have sentimental or artistic value. A single large statement vase on the mantel, for instance, can have more impact than 10 small figurines crammed together. A great trick is the rule of 3. Grouping items in threes creates visual balance. For example, instead of having a dozen framed photos on a table, pick 3 in complementary frames and place them strategically. This gives a cleaner, more intentional look while still preserving cherished memories. Number 3. Outdated or mismatched hardware. You might not notice it, but small details like old cabinet knobs, outdated light switch covers, and cheap plastic drawer pulls can drag down the entire look of your home. These little elements are like the jewelry of your home. If they're tarnished, broken, or outdated, they make everything look cheaper. Take Margaret, who had lived in her house for over 40 years. She had a gorgeous wooden kitchen with sturdy cabinets, but the brass handles were straight out of the 1970s, dull and tarnished. Her bathroom still had those white and gold plastic handles that were common in the 80s. When a friend pointed it out, she hadn't even realized how much it dated her home. A simple $50 investment in modern cabinet pulls and doorknobs can make a huge difference. Brushed nickel, matte black, or even a timeless bronze finish can instantly modernize your space. The best part, it's an easy DIY job. Margaret's son replaced her kitchen handles one afternoon and she was stunned. "I can't believe such a small change made my kitchen look brand new," she said. If you're unsure where to start, focus on areas where you touch things the most. kitchen and bathroom cabinet handles, interior doorknobs, and even light switch plates. If they're yellowed, cracked, or just outdated, swap them out for fresh, modern alternatives. Neglecting window treatments. Windows are the eyes of your home, but if they're left bare or covered with outdated blinds or cheap-looking curtains, your home can instantly feel neglected or low budget. Some seniors think skipping curtains will make their home feel more open, but the result is often a space that feels cold and unfinished. Others still have those old, heavy floral drapes that make their home feel dark and dated. Gloria was one of those people. She had vertical blinds on every window because that's what we used in the 90s. They were yellowing, slightly broken, and made an annoying clattering noise whenever someone opened them. After her daughter suggested soft linen curtains, she was amazed at the transformation. "I didn't realize how much those old blinds were dragging down the look of my home," she admitted. "A good rule of thumb? Hang curtains high and wide to make ceilings look taller and rooms more spacious. Opt for light, airy fabrics like linen or sheer drapes for a more elegant upscale look. If you prefer blinds, wooden or faux wood blinds look far richer than plastic ones. For an instant upgrade, try layering curtains over blinds. This adds depth and texture, making your space feel cozy and inviting." Using rugs that are too small. Imagine stepping into a beautifully decorated living room. The furniture is stylish, the colors are harmonious, and then, bam! A tiny rug sits awkwardly in the middle, making everything feel disconnected. Many seniors unintentionally fall into this trap. Over the years, they pick up small rugs on sale or inherit ones from family, placing them wherever they think a little softness is needed. The problem? A too small rug makes a room feel unanchored, like the furniture is just floating rather than forming a cohesive, intentional space. Take Frank and Linda, for example. They had a gorgeous, well-loved leather couch, a beautiful wooden coffee table, and an antique rocking chair, all sitting around a tiny 3x5 rug in their large living room. We bought it years ago because we liked the pattern, but we never thought about whether it was the right size, Linda admitted. When their daughter, an interior design enthusiast, suggested upgrading to an 8x10 rug, they hesitated. "We thought a bigger rug would make the room feel cluttered," Frank said. But when they finally made the switch, the transformation was incredible. Suddenly the room looked pulled together, polished and inviting. The rule of thumb? A rug should be big enough that at least the front legs of all major furniture pieces sit on it. This creates a sense of unity, making the space feel intentional and luxurious rather than pieced together from whatever was available. Overusing fake plants. The dusty jungle syndrome. Many seniors love the idea of greenery in their homes, but don't want the hassle of maintaining real plants. So they stock up on artificial greenery. Plastic ferns, silk flowers, and synthetic ivy draping over cabinets. While the intention is good, too many fake plants can make a home feel outdated and even a little tacky. Margaret, for example, had an artificial plant in every corner of her home. "I don't have the energy to water real ones anymore," she explained. The problem? Most of them had been sitting in the same place for over a decade, collecting dust and looking faded. Her grandson playfully joked, "Grandma, I think these plants are older than me." That was when she realized they weren't adding to her home's charm. They were making it look neglected. Now, don't get me wrong. Fake plants aren't inherently bad. High-quality artificial plants can be a great alternative, especially for seniors who want low-maintenance decor. The key is choosing wisely and keeping them clean. You can opt for realistic faux plants, like high-quality silk or preserved greenery. Avoid plastic flowers with unnaturally bright colors. They scream cheap. And most importantly, keep them dust-free. Nothing gives away a fake plant faster than a layer of dust. For a fresher look, mix in a few real low-maintenance plants like snake plants or pothos, which thrive with little care. Even one or two real plants can bring a natural, authentic warmth to your home. Mass-produced art. Your walls should tell a story, your story. But too often, seniors end up with mass-produced prints that, while pleasant, lack personal meaning or character. Think about it. How many homes have you walked into and seen the same generic beach scene, floral painting, or live laugh love sign? While there's nothing wrong with these pieces, having only mass-produced art can make a home feel impersonal and, frankly, cheap. Take Alice, for instance. She loved decorating and had a keen eye for design, but her walls were filled with generic department store art. "I just picked whatever looked nice at the time," she said. Then her granddaughter gifted her a framed painting of a lighthouse near her childhood home. When she hung it up, she noticed something. It made her house feel more like her. To make your home look more refined and personal, consider incorporating family photos in elegant matching frames. You can support local artists by purchasing one-of-a-kind pieces at craft fairs or online shops. Create your own art. Even a simple DIY project like a framed quilt patch or a watercolor painting adds uniqueness to your space. Your home should reflect your journey, not look like it was copied from a furniture catalog. Poor lighting choices, the hospital room effect. Lighting has the power to transform a home, yet it's often overlooked. The wrong lighting can make even the most beautiful home feel cheap, cold, or outdated. One common mistake seniors make is relying solely on overhead lighting. While a bright ceiling fixture is practical, it can cast harsh shadows, making a room feel sterile, like a hospital waiting room instead of a cozy home. That's exactly what happened to Paul and Joan. They had a beautiful living room with comfortable furniture, but every evening they would switch on their fluorescent ceiling light, instantly making the space feel cold and uninviting. We never realized how unflattering it was until our son suggested we add some lamps, Joan admitted. When they introduced soft table lamps, a floor lamp, and a few warm LED bulbs, the change was night and day. The room suddenly felt cozy, warm, and inviting. Here's how you can upgrade your lighting without spending a fortune. First, use multiple light sources. A mix of floor lamps, table lamps, and wall sconces creates a layered, luxurious feel. Next, swap out harsh, cool white bulbs for soft white or warm LED bulbs around 2700 Kelvin to avoid a sterile look and create a cozy atmosphere. And finally, install dimmer switches so you can adjust the brightness to match the time of day and the mood you want to set. Lighting is one of the easiest and most affordable ways to instantly make your home feel richer and more elegant. Keeping worn-out or mismatched furniture. The hand-me-down hodgepodge effect. Over the years, many seniors accumulate furniture from various sources. Some bought decades ago, others inherited, and some picked up from thrift stores or garage sales. While there's nothing wrong with having well-loved pieces, when your home becomes a mix of worn-out or mismatched furniture, it can start to look cheap and uncoordinated rather than charming and intentional. Take Doris, for example. She had a beloved floral couch from the 90s, a dining table from the 70s, and a coffee table that her son gave her after his college years. Each piece had a story, she said, but together they made my home look cluttered and dated. Her granddaughter gently suggested making a few updates. Instead of replacing everything, Doris tried unifying the look. She used slipcovers to refresh the sofa, painted the old coffee table a soft gray to match her decor, and swapped out the old dining chairs for modern but affordable ones from a local store. Suddenly, her home felt more put together and stylish, without losing the sentimental value of her favorite pieces. If replacing furniture isn't in the budget, here are some easy fixes. Slipcovers can instantly refresh an old couch or chair, giving it a more modern look. A simple coat of paint can transform an outdated wooden table or bookshelf, and adding matching throw pillows and blankets can help tie mismatched pieces together for a more cohesive, stylish space. The goal isn't to make everything look brand new. It's about making sure your space feels intentional and harmonious, rather than thrown together. Too many personal collections on display, the shrine syndrome. There's something beautiful about a home that reflects a person's life. But there's a fine line between showcasing meaningful memories and overwhelming guests with too many collectibles. Eleanor, a retired teacher, had spent decades collecting ceramic figurines. They filled every shelf, every side table, and even the tops of her kitchen cabinets. "I love them all," she said, "but I started to realize people were looking at my collection instead of enjoying my home." Her daughter suggested a simple trick: curate, don't clutter. Instead of displaying everything, Eleanor chose her 10 favorite figurines and arranged them on a single shelf. The rest were carefully stored and rotated seasonally. "Now, my home feels more open and elegant, and my collection actually gets more attention because it's not overwhelming," she said. If you have a collection of teacups, dolls, books, or family photos, consider displaying only the best pieces rather than the entire collection. Use built-in shelves or display cabinets to give them a dedicated space, and try rotating pieces throughout the year to keep things fresh and interesting. When you reduce visual clutter, your home instantly feels more refined and intentional rather than overcrowded and chaotic. Using dated or cheap bedding, the motel room look. Your bedroom should feel like a sanctuary, but outdated, faded, or mismatched bedding can make even a beautiful room feel cheap. Henry and Susan had a lovely master bedroom, but their bedding told another story. Their comforter had been washed so many times it had lost its color, the pillows were flattened, and the sheets had small pilling that made them uncomfortable. "We never really thought about updating it," Susan admitted. "We just used whatever we had." One day their son gifted them a simple, elegant duvet cover set in a neutral tone. "I couldn't believe the difference," Susan said. "Our rooms suddenly felt like a high-end hotel. If your bedding is outdated, here's how to upgrade it on a budget. Stick to neutral or solid colors for a timeless, elegant look, and avoid overly busy floral patterns that can feel old-fashioned. Invest in a good quality duvet cover. It instantly makes your bed look more luxurious. Swap out flattened pillows for plump, supportive ones to create a more inviting feel. And for a stylish, cozy touch, add a throw blanket at the foot of the bed. A beautiful bed doesn't have to cost a fortune, but fresh, well-coordinated bedding can make your bedroom feel like a luxury retreat instead of a tired motel room." Plastic or cheap-looking tablecloths. The grandma's diner look. Many seniors use plastic tablecloths to protect their dining tables, but while they are practical, they can also make your home look inexpensive. Maria, a warm-hearted Italian grandmother, always had her kitchen table covered with a vinyl floral tablecloth. "I didn't want spills to ruin the wood," she explained, but her daughter noticed that the plastic cover made the entire kitchen look cheap and outdated. Instead, Maria switched to a washable fabric tablecloth in a neutral linen color. She also started using placemats and coasters instead of a full cover. "It still protects the table, but now my kitchen looks so much more elegant," she said. Here's how you can upgrade from plastic tablecloths without sacrificing protection. Swap it for a cotton or linen fabric tablecloth for a classier look. For a more modern, polished feel, try placemats or a table runner. And if you love the convenience of a wipeable surface, opt for a glass tabletop cover instead of plastic. Your dining space should feel inviting and warm, not like a budget diner. Small upgrades make a big difference in creating an elegant and welcoming space. Visible carpet edges, the frayed and forgotten effect. Carpeting can add warmth and comfort to a home, but when the edges start fraying, lifting, or showing noticeable wear, it instantly makes a space look cheap and unkempt. Many seniors don't realize just how much these small details impact the overall feel of their home. Meet Mary, a retired nurse who had lived in her home for over 30 years. She took great care of it, but over time, the carpet in her living room had started pulling away from the edges, leaving visible seams and frayed corners. At first, she didn't think much of it. "I just figured, well, that's what happens when the carpet gets old," she said. Then one day, her neighbor Susan came over for tea and gently mentioned, "Mary, have you noticed your carpet corners are lifting?" You might want to fix that before someone trips. That's when it hit her. Not only did it make her home look worn and neglected, but it also posed a safety hazard. This is how visible carpet edges cheapen a home. First, they create a worn-out look. Frayed or curling carpet edges make even a well-kept home appear aged and poorly maintained. They also tend to draw attention to flooring flaws. Instead of noticing a beautiful rug or carpet, guests will fixate on the damage. Thirdly, they can be a tripping hazard. Aside from looking bad, loose carpet edges can cause falls, especially for seniors. Mary's daughter helped her research solutions, and they found out that fixing carpet edges wasn't as hard as she thought. They called a carpet repair service that stretched and resecured the loose carpet edges, trimmed frayed areas, and used carpet binding tape to prevent further unraveling. They also steam cleaned the entire carpet, making it look fresh and new again. The transformation was instant. "I can't believe I lived with it like that for so long," Mary said. "Now my home looks well cared for again." 14. Ignoring small repairs. The fix-it-later trap. You know that leaky faucet you've been meaning to fix? Or the chipped paint on the wall? What about the loose cabinet handle that drives you crazy? Small home repairs may not seem like a big deal, but when left unattended, they add up and make a home look cheap and neglected. Take George, for example. He was a retired Navy man who took great pride in his home. But as he got older, he found himself putting off small fixes. I always said, "I'll get to it later." But later never came, he admitted. Over time, the little things. Peeling wallpaper, a sagging cabinet door, and a missing light switch cover made his once pristine home feel run down. One weekend, his daughter and grandson came over and spent an afternoon helping him fix all the little things he'd put off. They tightened loose door handles, touched up paint scuffs, replaced an old flickering light bulb, and filled in small wall dents and scratches. The result? His home looked instantly more well-kept and expensive, and he felt so much better living in it. If small issues are piling up in your home, start with one thing at a time. Tighten those loose knobs and handles. It only takes minutes. Touch up scuffed paint. A fresh coat makes a world of difference. And don't forget to replace burnt-out bulbs. Good lighting plays a huge role in making a home look polished. You don't have to do everything at once. Just a few simple fixes here and there can make your home feel well-maintained and high-end instead of neglected. 15. Not having a cohesive color scheme. The patchwork chaos look. A home should flow, but when every room has a different wall color, mismatched furniture, or clashing decor, it can make the house feel disjointed and visually cluttered, which cheapens the overall look. Martha was guilty of this. She had painted her kitchen a bright yellow, her living room a deep green, and her bedroom a lavender purple. "I picked colors I liked, but I never thought about how they worked together," she admitted. When guests visited, they often felt like they were walking through completely different houses from one room to the next. When her niece, who worked in interior design, visited, she suggested something simple. Stick to a cohesive color palette. Instead of changing every room to white, Martha chose warm, neutral tones. A soft beige for the living room, a warm gray for the kitchen, and an earthy taupe for the bedroom. She accented each space with colors she loved through decor rather than on the walls. The result? Her home felt bigger, more put together and elegant. "It finally feels like everything belongs together," she said. To create a cohesive and expensive-looking home, stick to a neutral base, white, gray, beige, for the main wall colors. Use accent colors, deep blue, soft green, warm gold, in pillows, rugs, or artwork instead of painting whole walls. And don't forget to keep furniture and decor in the same tone. If you love warm wood, stick with warm tones. If you love modern grays, go cool. A well-thought-out color scheme makes a home feel harmonious, high-end, and intentional instead of like a mismatched puzzle. So there you have it. Some of the most common mistakes that could be making your home look cheap without you even realizing it. But the best part? Most of these fixes are simple, affordable, and can make an instant difference. If you found this helpful, Make sure to hit that like button so more people can see these tips. And don't forget to subscribe for more home improvement and decor advice. Because trust me, we've got tons of ideas to make your home feel luxurious and beautiful. Which of these mistakes surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.